pulled a card and I'm going to read it. It says Black people should change who they are to be accepted into white spaces. Black people should change who they are to be accepted into white spaces. There. And go.
Picture this, 1619, the first ships arrive in America carrying human cargo. Stolen, doctors, lawyers, astrologers treated worse than any animal, brutalized physically and mentally, beaten and then lynched.
Fast forward, 1865, the Emancipation Proclamation, a law that was set up to free blacks, but instead replaced plantations for chain gangs. 100 years later, 1964, Malcolm, Martin, Megger, and still not enough movement.
2019 marks 400 years. On the 401st year, we sat behind our computers watching the lynching of George Floyd. When it comes to race relations, we have work to do.
My name is Sarah Pearson Collins.
And I'm Keziah Pearson.
And we are
the Race Card LLC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we have pulled a card and I'm going to read it. It says Black people should change who they are to be accepted into white spaces. Black people should change who they are to be accepted into white spaces. There. And go.
I'm going with fiction.
I mean, I go with fiction too.
But then sometimes I want to say fact.
Why you want to say fact?
Because, man, I'm feeling kind of... So we just watched the movie. Well, that's not true. We didn't just watch a movie.
She
made
watched
me
this
watch
movie.
it.
Okay, so it was
Women of the Movement.
Women of the Movement. So that's, if you guys haven't taken a look at it, it's out on Thursday nights. And it was in regards to the story of Emmett Till. And this makes me go to that one part where the mom, she's at the train station. She's telling him, she said it a couple times, but she was basically trying to get him back home safely. So she said, you got to do this, you got to do that. If they're on the sidewalk, you step to the side. Yes, man, no, man. All of those things. In order for him to be able to
come back home.
It was a matter of life or death. So those were the directions she gave him before she sent him off to Money, Mississippi. And then we know how the story went.
It was very disturbing for me. And of course, I've known how the story went. But I sat there and cried like a baby. Like, it was a couple situations. And I'm going to get off the movie because that's not the point. Every time when the one son came back, and I knew your son's not coming back.
Yeah, that was
not her son, her nephew. I cried because I knew her son wasn't coming back. I'm trying to think when the other time. I mean, when I was just like bawling, breaking down, like I was losing my mind, and it's real life. Yeah. But it was a while ago that happened. But it's still, I'm traumatized by it. I wasn't even alive when it happened.
It's something. So someone said, there was this docu type of thing after the movie, and they were talking and they were talking about, well, why didn't the family, when they pulled him out of the house, how come the family did not, try to stop it? And it was this helplessness situation. And then they said they gave an example, and the example was of George Floyd and the girl who was filming him being murdered. And nobody could stop it because you knew that if you tried to stop it, that your life was in jeopardy too. You're not going to live. So you already know that. The fear of God has already been instilled in you so deeply since slavery, post-slavery, slavery and beyond, that you feel so helpless that you can't do anything but to try to comply or try to alleviate the situation and hope that they have mercy. and I guess that would be the one time that I would say that, like, I wanted him to come home. I got angry that he whistled or whatever it is that he did.
He said goodbye.
Angry.
He said goodbye to her.
When he shouldn't have said anything.
He shouldn't have said anything. And why am I saying that he shouldn't have said anything? I'm only saying that because I wanted him to come home. And even knowing the outcome, I still wanted him to come home. And I knew that was impossible. But that's why I say, he should have changed himself in order to fit in. But no, we should not have to change ourselves in order to fit in. Enough is enough already. Enough is enough. Yeah. And I really don't want to get into the movie too heavily. So I want people to go and watch it.
And it's not so much about the movie. It really isn't. It's just the fact that we're still trying to comply and fit in a society that's not, it's not meant for us to be there. It's just not, and I don't know why as Black folks we feel like we have to be in spaces that don't want us. Like, I just say have your own space.
You say have your own space, but it's just like
everybody else got their own space.
Everybody else has.
You go down. You're in New York City, and you go down to Spanish Harlem. You go to everyone has their own space and their own ethnic culture, and it's like they're loved
in that space,
and we don't have that.
We don't have that, and we definitely need
and
that.
And it's like we're too busy trying to do that. We're trying to get that. Instead of, you know what I mean?
You know what? I can't say that I agree. Because a couple of things, and I want to get back to the topic, but a couple of things. So we've tried to have our own space, and every time we have our own space, it's bombed or it's torn down or it's infiltrated and split up because the players that be don't want us to have our own space. Because if we come together, we're unstoppable. Hands down. I said what I said. And so people don't want us to have our own space. But even with having our own space, I'm with you on that. I believe that we do need to have our own space. But we still everyone has to live in a space together. So what we need to do is start to get to know each other and start respecting other people. So I pulled up my little message from it. Was a
so LinkedIn. We were on LinkedIn, yeah. And it was a young lady
who said she was giving props to Betty White, right? What she said was, Betty White ain't need no anti-racism book. I could hear her saying it just like that. She said no DEI expert, no workshop to do the right thing. So far as for at least 99 years, none of y'all have had no excuse. I read it wrong. So for at least 99 years, none of y'all had no excuse, right? Because we just, lost Betty White. Rest in peace. But somebody gets on there and their comment is, I like the message. What did he say? I love the message, but not the grammar. You trying to make her fit into white space. Is that what you're doing? She wasn't writing a dissertation. I could hear her voice when she said it. She was amped about and passionate about what she was saying. And she said what she said. Mm-hmm. But you have to, I love the message, but not the grammar. Why can't we just accept the message? Accept the person saying it and be like, you know what? You're right.
That was a good message.
It was a great message. Mm-hmm. But we get so caught up in fitting in, people in pushing everybody into these boxes that you think that they're supposed to fit in. What kind of mess is that?
Another thing that this movie, what it brought out to me was this idea of race-based trauma, because it was a trigger, it triggered me. Mm-hmm. And what I say, I was able to feel my own emotions and they weren't feeling good. If I want to be happy, I usually just watch some corny Hallmark Christmas movie.
Right.
Everybody, happy ending. I knew this wasn't going to be that. You know what I mean? In fact, I knew it was one of my people. And this was going to be a horrible death and situation on this movie. I already knew that. Mm-hmm. So even going into it, it was just really hard for me to even wrap my mind around. And it's almost so that I ended up blogging on Facebook. I was just like, I really want to watch this movie. But I said, in my spirit, it's just trauma. And it's just...
Your text sound like?
Yeah. I was typing like that. I was typing just like that. Uh-huh. And it was just crazy because immediately people started responding. It was like, I really want to watch it too. I'm just emotional. And even people went as far as, I have 3 sons, so we can empathize of what she must have possibly felt like. We're so connected to one another that, like, even in the instance of George Floyd and the murder, it was like I felt that. I don't know that man from like a can of paint, but the same token, I could connect with that murder because it has happened so many times. Like, I think we all probably have lost someone, and can identify with those feelings. So that's really what this movie brought out. We have trauma, unresolved trauma, that plays out in our day-to-day activities.
And it's not,
and it doesn't just, I'm sorry, it comes up like, just like any other trauma that happens.
It's not just unresolved trauma. It's not just unresolved trauma. It's constant trauma because there's still things going on each and every day. There's something new to add on top of the trauma that's already there.
Yeah, you're right. So it's not just stuff that happened. And did you say that?
Yeah, I did. Absolutely. That's exactly
stuff that just happened
what
like
I just said.
40 years ago, and we still living on that. It's a day-to-day event. It is never, and it just, all it does is just build up on. So it's hard to be able to function sometimes.
So my experience with
fight or flight.
Constant fight or flight.
If you're living constantly in a fight or flight,
how you function?
How do you function? How do you function?
You're not functioning. Like, not like, it's amazing the things that Black people do. Like, when I watch them, I'm like, oh my God, they're so amazing. Because how are you functioning? Because this stuff is constantly going on. So my initial, I don't want to say interaction, but my initial exposure to Emmett Till. Well, first of all, the movie, when it came out, a student messaged me and was like, this movie's coming out. I know you probably enjoy, get more information because my students know that I'm heavily into Black history. And I just clicked a little heart because I really didn't want to respond. I wasn't in the headspace. Fast forward to a week later, she's like, I'm watching Women of the Movement. And I went right back to what I was doing because I was like, I can't watch it. Today, she's like, I need you to watch this movie.
Content. I'm thinking content. What are we going to do for the next night? We got to be able to.
We need to talk about this. I need you to watch this movie. I don't want to watch this movie.
It wasn't about the movie.
I don't want to watch the movie. It was about, I did not want to feel that feeling. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to be angry, hurt, and sad. I didn't want to bring that up because I knew it was going to trigger me. So my first, like I would say, my initial experience or interaction or encounter with Emmett Till was, I had to be, I want to say probably in the 5th grade, maybe. I'm going to go with 5th grade because I don't remember exactly. Mom brought home, before our parents are retired teachers. Mom, because, and why would Mom bring that home? Like, seriously. So, why would she bring that home? Why would she do that? No, but seriously, she brought home the documentary, Eyes on the Prize. Yes. I want to say it was called Keep Your Eye on the Prize. She said it's Eye on the Prize. Either way, she put it in the VCR.
And that is a
big tape. She put it in the VCR and she's pushing it and she gets up, she stops it and goes in the kitchen to fix, she was cooking, to stop the stove, turn the stove off. And she says, Keziah?
Is that your name?
Yeah. You hear me? Do not play this until I get back.
She said it like that. Do not.
She told me don't play it until I get back.
You're so hard-headed.
She told me don't play it. You know what I did? I hit play. And I watched it.
You are so hard-headed.
And the thing that I saw, is
exactly what you did.
Yeah, kind of. But so that was my first encounter with Emmett Till. So when I hit play, the part about Emmett Till was on there, and I literally saw him laying in the casket, and I could not sleep for weeks. But what I will say is that was like the end of my childhood. I will say that. It's like we're not allowed to be children, and our parents tried to protect us, to keep us children as long as they could, and instill us, you can do anything, you can be anybody. And I believe you can still, but then at that very point, the Band-Aid was ripped off, or the tape was ripped off. And I saw what people were doing to people that looked like me. And that stayed with me. And from that moment on, it was all about Black history. So even before I got my own classroom, even before that, now that I'm thinking about it, I used to go in and write plays for Mom and Pop. For their classrooms and Black history plays. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. And actually, after I graduated from high school, I would go in and I would actually perform on their stage. Mm-hmm. I had forgotten about all of that. Oh, look at and then when I got in my own classroom, we all the time I've been there, we've done Black history plays, and that was one of the main stories that that was my starting story, and then it built around other stories came. But yeah. That was my first encounter with Emmett. So that thing messed me up, though. I could not sleep. Yeah. Being hard-headed.
I kind of am slowly exposing Josiah. I probably just rolled my eyes. I'm slowly exposing him to, this cruel world and like the history of it, because I don't want him to not know.
Right.
But at the same token, like, I don't want to share this with him because he still has those, child blinders on, and and yesterday or the other day we had to talk about, because he's looking at my computer. I'm looking online and I'm researching about the Klan, and so then he sees these what he calls costumes. He's 8 years old, and I had to explain to him what those costumes meant and the seriousness of it. And he got upset with me. He's like, "Mom, why did you tell me that? Why did you scare me?" And so since this time, he has really he's been sleeping in the bed with us. And it's a lot. It's a lot, but.
Question, I want you guys to share with us, when do you think is the right time to have these conversations with it? Because the conversations have to happen. They have to happen. We can never forget, shall never forget. Because you don't want things to happen again. Because that's what happens when you don't know your history. There's a tendency to repeat it. And I'm not going back there. Mm-hmm. Not ever. Not doing it. So when do you think is a good time, a good age to have these conversations?
And I'm curious about this critical race theory. Like, why are we trying to...
People don't even know what it is. People don't even know what critical race theory is. Like, for real.
I guess I wouldn't want nobody to know that you know what? There was one part of that movie, and then I'm done with it. There's one part of that movie, and you were kind of like overhearing some of the residents of Money, Mississippi talking, and the guy said they're gonna make us all look like savages or something like that. So it was a few people doing this, just like it always is. It's a few races that doing all of this, making it look like everybody's like this. But making everybody look bad, and so that was one of the things that he said that I kind of caught, But
definitely savagery.
We definitely have work to do.
Yeah. Well,
that's all I got.
I'm done.
I'm done too. This is heavy.
This was heavy. This one was heavy.
So let us know what you think. Subscribe, like our page, share it, of course, and definitely reach out. Let us know what you're thinking, and we will definitely answer. Yep. Thanks again.
All right. Bye-bye. But once you have contact with a person, somebody that has a different skin tone, once you have that contact, you're less likely to treat them in a negative manner, or if you see something happening, you're more likely to stand up and say, hold up, that's not right, as opposed to, well, it doesn't matter to me.